Hey y'all, it's been a minute. I know I've been on MIA, I've been on vacation, I've been missing in action, but the coach is back. And look who we got as a guest. None other than Mr. Bobby Simmons himself. Welcome to the
Hey, hey. What up, y'all? How y'all doing now?
What's going on?
I'm feeling good, feeling good. What up, Knowledge Born? How you feeling, baby?
Pigs. We got a living legend here, okay? We
Okay.
get in the habit of handing out flowers after people departed. You understand what I'm saying? There's so much life, so much legacy. How much more could they have propelled their life if we would have gave it to them while they could still smell them? So
Thank you.
honest to one of the most conscious groups and one of the greatest pioneer groups in regards to speaking out, not ones that would seek to keep silent about the things that were going on from the social ills of their time to our time. So
All
definitely
Mhm.
honest to the legend who put so many things together and who was the sound behind the sound that had us saying AFRICA. You understand what I'm saying? Speaking about the calamities of South Africa, apartheid, and all of those things.
Okay.
So honest to you,
right.
my brother Bobby, man, uh, legend. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Glad that y'all have me on the show, man. And you know, man, I love sharing information and our journey with people who wants to listen, man. I want to hear it.
Cool, cool,
Most
cool.
there.
Listen, like knowledge said, it is we get in a habit around these parts to giving those flowers to legends while they're here. We don't like to, say our goodbyes and cries and all that after the fact. Because
Right.
I mean, what's the point? They can't hear it. So now, can you please give a description to the people who don't know you? I'm not sure who those people might be, but there are a few. We got some new people in hip hop culture who don't
Yes, yes, yes.
know the great.
Well, for those who don't know, my name is Bobby Simmons. I am one half of the member of the original hip hop band Stetasonic. Like Brother Knowledge said, we're the first original hip hop band, and we're also the first, as Chuck D from Public Enemy would tell us most of the time, is that we were one of the first group to who was beside Melly Mel's The Message record, but we were one of the first group to incorporate information in the culture of our people. And we first did it originally with a song called Free South Africa. So we play, it's funny that she said that there might be some people that don't know you. A lot of people learned about us because of the song Africa. We have, till this day, we got people that walk up to us, hey, Nunu, I see you in the building. Nunu's in the building. We have people that will walk up to us and say, yo, I learned all about Africa because of the record. Like people didn't know Zimbabwe or Tanzania, Mozambique. They didn't know those places. And we also got to learn ourselves. We got that project, which was introduced to us by the Reverend Jesse Jackson. A young man gave Daddy on a group of tape, and he showed us what they were doing in Africa. They would put these ties around the people's neck, and they would put gasoline and they would light it on fire. And the guy told Daddy Yo, he said, so Daddy Yo, why nobody's talking about this? Isn't this what rappers do in your music? You talk about what's going on with your people. And that's how we got really involved in a lot of political factors and stuff like that. So people who don't know who we are, it's okay. You can now look us up and learn who we are. Those who do know who we are, we appreciate the continued support for us. But not only as a member of Stetasonic, but also a host of my own TV show called Flavor Videos. And also a record producer, produced for a lot of artists, songs that y'all probably didn't know that we produced until you read, the credits like, oh, I didn't know you produced Tony Terry. What? You produced it? So no one knew until you read the credits on the record. So I love my journey. I'm happy of how my journey began and how it's still now continuing.
No, that's right. Let's talk about this new album.
Oh, thank you.
Y'all got a new album out, okay? And it's called Here We Go Again.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, the album is called Here We Go Again. That means we just gearing up because it's not that we're not happy at what's going on in hip hop today. We just like, you know what? There's no diversity in it. At least when we was coming up, there was diversity in hip hop. I always tell people, for even though we was there at the maybe 3 years at the beginning after doing hip hop, because Stetasonic kind of entered in '83. But we dropped the album in '80. We dropped the first song in '85, which was called Just Say Stat. I always tell people the best year for hip hop and diversity in hip hop was the summer of 1988. And I tell everybody why. I'm gonna tell you, yeah. We can applaud that. We can applaud that. Yes. 1988. And I tell you why 1988 was even though before 1988 we had a lot of great hip hop records. We had a lot of great people. We had Eric Beats for President. We had Biz Markie and No One Beats the Biz. We had great records. You know, hip hop was growing, but 88 started a run, and I'm gonna tell you why. All of us put out an album simultaneously, almost at the same time in 1988, and we were all diverse, different. I'm gonna name all the albums for you. Biz Markie, MC Shan, Cool G Rap and DJ Polo, Salt and Pepper, Salt with a Deadly Pepper, Karis One My Philosophy, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, Eric B and Rakim, Let the Rhythm Hit Him, Stetasonic in Full Gear, Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation to Hold Us Back, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, He's the Rapper, I'm the DJ, EPMD Strictly Business. You talk LL Cool J. You talking about a slew of hip hop records the summer of 1988, and we all won because we were all different acts. We had our own style, our own identity, and our own sound. I think that's the problem with hip hop today is that people do too many features. You don't know whose work you're getting. Because you don't know if you're buying a record because, you know, Drake is on a such and such record, but you don't really know this kid, you know, K. Joe, but Drake is on this K. Joe record, so I'm liking it because Drake is on it. So you're not liking K. Joe, you're just liking because Drake is on K. Joe's record. And it becomes a problem. So no one's really getting identity with you because you're filling yourself with someone else's success. So you didn't have time to build your own success. Hello, we built our own success. Public Enemy didn't need to do a feature record with nobody. You got Public Enemy's album. EPMD did not need to do a feature. You got EPMD. Salt and Pepper didn't need to do a feature. All you needed was Salt and Pepper. You know what I'm saying? It's like we kind of worked and built our own identity. And then maybe 5 years down the line, we was like, you know what, let's do a record with In Vogue. And we did a record, you know, they do a record with In Vogue. So we did this album, Here We Go Again, is because we wanted to kind of break up the monotony in hip hop. We returned back in 2019 after we came back from a trip in the Netherlands. We did a concert in the Netherlands. And a brother by the name of Kevin Dean submitted a track for us. He said, yo, I got this track for you, Daddy-O. And Daddy-O said he heard the track and he said, yo, man, this sounds like a Stetasonic record. So he said, let me give this to my guys and see what they think. So while we was in rehearsal, preparing for this overseas tour, Daddy-O played the track for us. We was like, yo, that track is dope. So we decided to do old lyrics from an old song over that track when we went over to the Netherlands. When we did that, we was like, yo, this felt good. Maybe we should write new lyrics to this new track. And that's what started the album, Here We Go Again. And we called it Here We Go Again because we were resurgent. And now, we did that in 2019, preparing it. We in 2024, now look at the resurgence of all the classic artists putting out new music. Greg Nice, MC Light, Rakim. You know, so we kind of feel kind of happy that we started something. So that's how we came about putting together Here We Go
Again. We started something again.
So we happy about that. So it's a great album. So for those who haven't heard it, you can get it, please. It's available now. You can, if you don't want to, if you're not with Apple or Spotify, no problem. Just come to us, Stetasonic.com, Bandcamp. You can just get it directly from us. Okay, I lost your audio.
Tell me a little bit about the single that you got out now, Cypher.
Oh, Cypher. Yeah, Cypher actually was the last song. You know what's funny about Stetasonic, and y'all probably don't know this? What's funny about us, when we was doing the Info Gear album, we already did Talking All That Jazz, we did Info Gear, we did this. We finished the album, but it was one song that we wasn't going to put on the album, and we did that last, and it wound up becoming one of our biggest hit record, and that's Sally. You know what I'm saying? It's like Sally wasn't even on the album. We finished the Info Gear album, and if it wasn't for Russell Simmons, because Russell managed us at the time, he was our manager. And he said, "Yo, that song is dope, you guys." So when we finished Sally was the last song that we finished. The album was prepared to go, and it's funny because that happened with Cypher. The album Here We Go Again was already done, ready to go. We had a TV one unsung that was airing April 14th, I think. And we wanted to have the album ready by April. So the album was done, but Cypher, I submitted it last with Smooth the Hustler on it and Marla Reigns on it. And Daddy-O said, we got to get this one finished. So we finished it just in time to put on the album. And again, like Sally, it became it's the most popular song from my album right now. Thank you to Smooth the Hustler. All I did was put a phone call out to Smooth the Hustler, and he was like, "Yo, B, send it to me," which I got. I called Marla. I'm not sure if y'all familiar with Marla Reigns, but Marla battled every dude in the Cypher contest back in, I think maybe it was late 90s or early 2000, and she beat all the dudes. And I think she got marked as the Source magazine's #1 battle rap female. And I called her and was like, "Yo, Marla, I'm gonna send you a track," and she blessed her. So I'm glad that when we put out the phone calls, the people that I was supporting, I was hoping that they would support us, and they came through. A lot of people came through for us. Like even when we did our TV one unsung, I put a call to Ice-T. I was like, "Yo, Ice, man," because Ice-T taught with us. We work with Ice-T with the Rhyme Syndicate. So I'm thinking, let me put out phone calls to people. If we're gonna do a TV one unsung, I'd rather it be our people that know us and that worked and traveled with us. So I got on the phone and called everybody. I called Ice-T. I called Chuck D. I called Roxanne Shante. Rest in peace, Mr. C. I called Mr. C. I called Milk D. I called everybody. And the thing that I love about those people is that when they saw my name show up in their phone, they picked it up. And that's what I appreciate. And that's how Cypher came about. Smooth the Hustler picked up the phone. Marla picked up the phone, and he blessed us with a joint. And it's one of the hottest joints, man. We winning with it right now.
No, that's a dope track. Dope track. I got a chance to listen to it before we did the interview tonight.
Thank you.
Dope, very dope. Looking forward to the album.
Yes.
We also got to chat about some things behind the scenes before we started tonight, and which brings us to the topic of tonight.
Okay, let's go. What we talking about?
We're discussing tonight the hip hop culture from back then all the way up until now. We're gonna talk about the beefs and everything in between. Mm-hmm. So let's start with this Kendrick and Drake. Let's go from now to back a little bit, and we'll teeter-totter.
Okay.
So give me your personal thoughts on the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef in a nutshell.
Loved it. Man, that's the nutshell. Loved it. What I liked about it was that let me give you what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. What I liked about it was like, oh, so Drake ain't backing down. Kendrick ain't backing down because he's trying to prove I do this. And then Drake is like, well, I'm in here. I'm doing it. So I loved it. I loved how the way they were going at it. One thing I always say, and that happened during the Pac and Biggie beef, that when you get a Coast involved, then it takes the fun out of it. Because there really wasn't, and I'm sorry, y'all can hate me, whoever's online tweaking on the Secretarian right now. There really wasn't a West Coast and East Coast beef. It wasn't. Because we did records with West Coast people. So there wasn't no East Coast, West Coast. That was dreamed up through Double XL and Source Magazine creating their story package for these two artists, that it cost them both their lives. Not saying that but you saw that happen. What I didn't want to see happen with the Drake and the Kendrick thing is don't let the coast get involved, because people in New York, people in Detroit, people in Chicago, people in LA, they loving this. You know what I'm saying? Because when we were doing it, you got to remember. Now that if you don't mind me going back just a little before I nutshell the Drake.
No, go ahead, rock out. Say your thing.
Even when we was doing in the past, you got to remember, we were battling people in different boroughs in New York City. Hello, how do you do that? Well, we do that because every borough thought they was the, Queens, the Harlem, the Brooklyn. Brooklyn always represented deep, always, no matter what. But we didn't allow it to affect the other communities. We didn't allow the music to affect, like, oh, KRS numbers from the South Bronx, so we going up to South Bronx to kill them. It didn't get to that. People came down to see this battle go down, and Brooklyn and Queens and in the Bronx, they all left on a, all right, PC, y'all, whatever. I think that's the difference between us and this culture today. They get too involved as if like they doing Kendrick or Drake a solid. Yo, Drake, Canada, we got you. We gonna beat up Rick Ross when he gets here. It's like, come on, man. Y'all serious? So I think that's the only problem that I have with it. But as far as the Kendrick and Drake thing, I loved it. And I love the way it ended with "They Not Like Us." I love the way Kendrick summed it up, showing that, see, I have a flow and I'm lyrically nice. Am I a little like this on Drake because sometimes I get an understanding people write for him? Okay. Some people saying, shouldn't someone write for him? What difference does it make? Well, as an MC, it makes a difference to us. You know what I'm saying? We sit at the table writing our stuff like, I need to say, I want to say it like this. I don't want you to say it and then insert it to me to say it. If this is the new age and y'all want someone to write for a rapper and you call him your king rapper, go on with your Kool-Aid self. My guys sat and wrote. I'm proud of my guys because they sat and wrote. No one wrote for them. No one wrote for Rakim. No one wrote for Big Daddy Kane. No one wrote for Run DMC. No one wrote for LL Cool J. No one wrote for these guys. They sat at the table and went in the trenches. Is like, let's go. So I love the Drake and Kendrick battle. I thought it draw down too long, but I still loved it.
Do you think it was good for the culture as an overall experience?
Yeah, I thought it was good for the culture because, like I said, I just don't want to see it bleed over to other coasts as if like now if I fly out to Canada, yeah, kid, don't play that just like that. You're not like us record over it. Stop it. It. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just stop it. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I mean, when the DJ plays South Bronx in Brooklyn, we was in there, South Bronx, kill that noise. We was having fun with it. We didn't, even when we perform our record Go Stetzer and we did a show up in the Bronx, people in the Bronx was going, go Brooklyn.
I do.
They stop
and
it.
Still do.
Stop it. You know what I'm saying? This coasting, that's the thing I dislike about the battles for the culture. If you're not going to have fun with it and enjoy it and just live your life through and say this was a great moment, don't listen to it. Don't get involved. Leave it alone.
Knowledge, what's your take on it?
We here to discuss hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a reserved mind. We got a legend in here. You see what I'm saying? He lived through all of the things we read about and heard about.
He did.
So I would much rather focus on that. What was it like living out the times, the trials, the tribulations, the ups, the downs of being an artist, being active, touring? Like, paint us the real picture. We only seeing whatever was on in the magazines first because there wasn't no TV, and then it was then it progressed from the magazines to the TV to the movies to the soundtracks to the thing that they said was only going to last 10 years. It was a fact. rap was a fad. Okay, people was getting locked up for breakdancing and graffiti and all of these elements. Now that we fused together to this story, this is something that you live. So I'm very curious to see what that sojourn was like since the early '80s to now.
Well, it was beautiful for us because one, we were young. Two, I always ask people who want to get into rap or want to be a rapper or be a rap artist. Always ask them. Well, they say, "Yo, I want to make a rap record. I'm gonna do a record." I said, "Well, what are you here for? What do you want to do? What do you really want to do?" Because that's a question that hey, peace, D. Anthony. I see you in the building. That's a question that I always ask people because when we got involved in hip hop, we got involved in it because we caught the back era of the disco era and the R&B era. Because when disco got pushed out, we still had our great R&B bands who was making hits. Kool and the Gang, Slave, like just a touch. We still had the R&B. We had Sky with Call Me. We still had our R&B heroes who were making the R&B funk records. So we still had a playground to play in because we had the love for music. We come from a musician background. So our reasons for getting involved in hip hop and music was to progress it musically and artistically. It's kind of strange for me to look at artists today and say the same thing with them because it's not, because you see it in the work that it's not, because you can see that someone's telling them if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, we never had to fix anything that was broke. We just did our art, whether it was different or whether you got it or not, we did it. I remember the first time somebody laughed at us and said, "What the hell is a hip hop band?" You could look at us. You have a keyboard player, you have a DJ, and you have a drummer, and you got a guy named Wise who do the human beatbox. So we stripped down from what your regular bands was using, guitars, bass, and keyboards, and we had to strip that down. Wise had to do guitars with his mouth, with the beatbox. Prince Paul had to scratch horn sounds, you know what I'm saying? And DBC would cover like bass lines, and I would do the break beats. So we did a stripped down version of your Midnight Stars or of your Kool and the Gangs or all your Parliament Funkadelics because we didn't have a guitar player. We didn't have a bass player. We didn't have horn players. We had what hip hop used us to create with it. And that's where the DJ came in. So now a DJ, the turntable, is an instrument now because they made it. So for us, it was beautiful at that time because we were still experimenting things and we had fun showcasing it at clubs, particularly the Latin Quarters, because I was the DJ at the Latin Quarters Club. I got hired by Paradise Gray. He hired me to play at the Latin Quarters Club. There was a lot of us there back then. Heather Hunter was working Kochak. Eddie Bell, brought us in. A lot of us was like, we was in the Latin Quarters like when we wasn't supposed to be in there. We were young. But it was something happening in hip hop. And like I said, before 88 entered in, it was a beautiful time because everyone was testing their work. What made people believe whether you was good or not is when you tested at the Roxy's or when you tested at the Funhouse or when you tested at the Latin Quarters. If people was liking you, by the time you put the record out, they was like, I want that record. We came across a lot of people, King's Son, MC Shan, and everybody was coming up through the trenches through those clubs, showcasing their work. Do you see hip hop artists showcasing their work today? They go straight to IG. Done product. Expect people to like it immediately. Like, yo, this. And I'm not saying certain things is not fire or is not good. I'm saying, but you really didn't put in the work. Because I could do that on my own phone, you know what I'm saying? And then put it up and be like, y'all think I'm talented? And we put in the work. Yeah. Like, we was hoping y'all liked us when we finished. And remember, those were songs they never heard. They weren't on records yet.
Right.
So we had to perform songs that you couldn't even buy it. So we had to make sure you liked it. Did y'all like that? You know what I'm saying? That's what we had to say. So we had to prove to our audience that we were growing and developing our art. So it was a great time. We toured and worked with a lot of people. KRS-One. I remember the first time Scott LaRock, we all hung out together. It's like Scott LaRock was a very, very smart man. Had he not been killed, I hate saying this because people always say things after somebody passed, but if Scott probably wouldn't have got killed, we probably wouldn't. We would be bigging up more Scott LaRock than Diddy because Scott was smart.
I can see that.
He was smart.
I can definitely see that.
He was a business person. So and then you got to realize too, we loved our peers too. We loved Melly Mel, even though Melly Mel talked a lot of crap, but we loved him because so what? Muhammad Ali talked a lot of crap, but we loved him. Yo, Ali, you better get in there and knock him out. You know what I'm saying? So we love Mel, and we love the fact that he was going to hold on to the belt, even though he lost it plenty of times, but he's still my hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna make me put down my hero because you think he's washed up now. He's still my hero. The Message is one of the greatest records in hip hop history. What you gonna say?
Yeah,
he made that. So it was a great time for us, man. We was young, and we wasn't thinking about it for the money aspect neither. I think that's where most artists made a mistake at. Thank God, me and my guys like Prince Paul and Daddy O, we became record producers. So we learned now my work has a value of a price. So that's what kept us surviving, making money as record producers and songwriters and producing songs for movies and stuff. So, but in the beginning, we wasn't thinking about money. In the beginning, we was just like, yo, we want to hear Mr. Magic play this. You know what I'm saying? That's where it was at.
So, a lot of people, I'm going to throw this person in here because she's like the talk right now. A lot of people think that she's like an abomination on the hip hop culture right now. Sexy Red. What's your take on her?
Okay, I'll take the beatings. I can get beat up. I'll take it. There's a difference, and I'm going to say this so maybe some people may understand it, maybe some people won't understand it. Those who won't understand it, it's okay for them to feed you because she's not the first person to be fed to people and really wasn't that great at what she does. There's a lot of artists, singers, and rappers who weren't great, but they fed them because it just looked goofy. Mm-hmm. So, Sexy Red to me is the only reason why I can big up someone like a Nicki Minaj, even though I was a little disappointed in Nicki at certain projects she took on, except for the last album. The last album, she actually did. She did her big one. She did the right thing with the last album. Because I got to see Nicki before she was Nicki Minaj, when she was Nicki Minaj, when she was a part of Bow-Legged Loose from 4/4 Sons group called the Hood Stars.
Come on now.
So, and I had them on my show when I was doing flavor videos at the time. And Nicki can spit. Like, I was like, okay, just make the record, Nicki, and you gonna be that chick. Everybody gonna wanna, that cypher chick. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, they found a gimmick so that the money can be made. I get it. So I'm not gonna dump on Nicki. I just wish they would have made the hip hop record first before they made the hip hop records. Mm-hmm. But it worked for her. But the last album, she did the right one. So she gets the assignment. Late, they're better than ever. She's not that. Sexy Red is not that. She's not that. If I told Sexy Red to get in a cypher with one of my girls, Rod Digger, anybody, she will be cremated.
All you're going to get in a cypher with Rod, who else? All you're going to get from her is bow, 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 bow. That's all you're going to get. Yeah. That's all you're going to get.
Yeah, you're going to get cap lines.
That's it.
And cap lines is good when you want to make a hook. A cipher is not about a hook. Cipher's not about hooks. Cipher's about get in the trenches and box. That's what it is. Make your points. Ciphers, you don't win with cap hooks. You don't win with bow, bow, bow. Everybody in the place say bow, bow. You don't win with that in ciphers. We don't do hooks in ciphers. You go in ciphers. Lyrically, bar for bar, toe to toe, tap to tap. We'll fill the points. So to answer your question, she's not my pick of the litter. She's not. If people want to hate on me for saying that, I'll take the punches. I took mad punches when I just do my flavor video shows. Whatever. Enjoy the cotton candy, because when the cotton candy's over, you're going to be the same people saying she whack now. Why is she not whack now? Why she got to be whack later when she's not staying relevant? Because they're going to be sick of that. They're going to get sick. And listen, people are going to turn 40 years old And they're gonna be like, she's still doing that? You know what I'm saying? When is it over?
What about the who they're calling the princess right now of what's her name? Ice Spice.
Ice Spice? Well, you know what? I kind of a little. I kind of a little like Ice Spice. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. I kind of like a particular song from Ice Spice.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think she can crank out a authentic hip hop joint? No. I think again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Make another one of those again. Make another. Yeah, what y'all want to do? All right. What kind of record we gonna do? The Color of Your Pussy this time? Okay, make that one. No one made a record called My Pussy Color Is. No one made that record yet. You can make that, Ice Spice. That's how they get them. It's cotton candy. That's how they get them. We need cap songs. We got a lot of money involved here. Y'all don't talk about it.
Say one that I had high potential, and I don't know. I'm still on the fence for her, and it's Scarlett. I liked Scarlett. I did. She came with that aggressiveness and that rawness, and then it's like, okay, girl, like where we going with this now? Like, what's going on?
There you go. See, so you get it. You get the assignment when you listen to music and you watch an artist. It's about you developing after that. How do you develop after that? You know what I'm saying? Angela Felder said, I love Scarlett. What? We love Scarlett too. I love Scarlett.
We're just trying to figure out where you're going with this.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Everybody has a root. Everybody has a root.
Right.
See, the beautiful thing about you, Bobby, and your crew is y'all came fresh off musicality.
Right.
There's no through line in between. So they see things that are already processed and trying to process the process after the process was processed.
Exactly.
In the pantheon of female MCs, you go back to MC Debbie D. And you understand what I'm saying? Like, and when they started battling, they was talk crazy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I
know.
know.
There's a legacy that goes along with it. So there's a space that's raw, and then there's a space that's sex appeal. You see what I'm saying? So finding the commonality in between, and then who's pushing you?
Exactly.
I'm saying? Who's pushing you? That's another thing. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't get absorbed by a crew, like to add additional context, the Nelly that we heard wasn't the Nelly that was in the hood.
Right.
That he created a big enough buzz for somebody to come see him, and it was like, oh, okay, he got this kind of appeal. We're gonna push him like this.
Right.
He wasn't rapping like that at home, and you could tell by the people that was rolling with him. They wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? There was something different. So they found a way to market that. So I think that marketing mix that they try to reinvent people, it works sometimes, but it don't work all the time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so now people trying to adopt a formula. But you look at the pantheon of female MCs, they all fit in that mold. But I don't think a female MC, and I will let her hear your thoughts on it. In 51 years of hip hop, I still don't think female MCs get the do that they do for the work that they put in.
Well, no, of course.
For their legacy in regards to their place in hip hop, I don't think it's still solidified, and it's been 51 years.
Right. No, I agree with you. And I want to go back to something you said about sex appeal. Salt and Pepper has sex appeal, but they made great records. They expanded. They was able to do a record called Shake Your Thing and wear the ripped jeans, and they shaking their ass as if they doing a little before twerk, a little twerk, doing that and doing the go-go dance with the ripped jean, with the ripped shirt up where you halfway see their bras almost. They kind of kept it classy. You know what I'm saying? So they had sex appeal, but they also grew up. So they did records like Let's Talk About Sex, or they did records like What a Man, or they found other things to talk about.
Let me tell you something. They used, with the thing that I liked about Salt Pepper, because I lived in not too far from where they used to work at, because they used to work in Rochester.
Right.
So what they did was they used their sex appeal from pushing them perfumes in Macy's,
right,
and they turned that over to, hey, we could still do that, rap, and still keep our clothes on. And then as they grew in from, hey, I'm not just a round-the-way chick, I am an actual woman that exudes sex and wants love. And I think they did it perfectly, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. But that's the whole point I was saying. They developed, you know what I'm saying? Angela said, hey, push it real good. Which was a sexual song, Angela, but they grew from that. Mm-hmm. They also did a record called Get Up, Everybody Get Up. And it was that joint you was rocking to. So Salt-N-Pepa have a legacy and they have a catalog that's diverse and fun musically. You can't really say that about well, I don't want to put Scarlett in it because I kind of like her. She's not finished yet. Give her time, and we'll see.
She's still fairly new.
Yeah, let's see what happens in the next round. But you know, when you're talking about I forgot her name now. The one you saw about earlier.
Sexy Red.
Red. You know, it's like how does she grow from that? I'm even mad at Cardi right now when she did a IG, which again she's talking about her ass and here we go again. We're not done, and this is coming from a man who's supposed to love to see women shake their ass and pop it. Yeah, baby, give me more. No, I don't. No. But that's a growing person of me of watching women do things. It's like, okay, I appreciate you, Jennifer Lopez. You shake your ass, but can you grow a little bit more? Is there more to you than just that, or can you grow? I always argue about the Beyonce, and everybody always say, yo, Bobby, be careful with the beehives. I got into it with the beehives all the time. Beehives don't faze me. I always battle the beehives because I've been in it. I even told one girl hit me up on IG and she was like, you just jealous because Beyonce is playing in big arenas and you not. I said, baby, in 1987, we played Madison Square Garden. What are you talking about?
Right.
So it's like I had to check her, like, how you gonna tell me?
But you do realize some of the beehive are not privy to
I know
culture of it, so they're just seeing this like she's the all end all,
right? But I had to check them anyways. Like, and then you're talking to a guy who performed, which is on video. You can go to YouTube. Who performed in front of 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium and met Nelson Mandela to welcome Nelson Mandela home because we did the record Free South Africa. So I performed in front of just as many people as Beyonce did. So don't come to me with like as if I'm hating on her. That's what's the point. The point I was trying to make about Beyonce is that, okay, and I met her. I met Beyonce when I was working at 106 in Park. But the thing that I wanted to see, again, bloom with her. I wanted to see her bloom. They don't know good music. They used to this weird devilish stuff they make today. I hear you, Angela. I wanted her to grow vocally. I said, you know what? Would it kill Beyonce to just sit on a stool and croon to me? Would it kill her?
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't kill her just to be like, you know what? Tonight, y'all, I'm just going to sing a couple of my songs. I'm going to sit on a stool and I'm going to sing.
Just vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Just vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because of, and that's what make good artists like Jill Scott. You know what I'm saying? She don't have to be like Jill Scott, but can you croon to me and be like, yo, Bobby, tonight you're not getting my ass tonight. Tonight you getting me vocally. I'm gonna sex you vocally. Let me tell you something. Luther Vandross used to tear women asses up.
And he wasn't even talking to us.
Exactly. But he would tear him up. He would stand at the mic and he wouldn't do. And I'm saying, how does someone capture somebody like that just singing? It's a perfection. And I'm saying, Beyonce, you can sing. Make me be on myself with something. Give me something that's going to make me go, oh, Beyonce, Aretha Franklin did it to me.
Give me that. Listen, I hear what you're saying, because give me that. Michael stood there for 15 minutes without a word, not a breath, not a movement. And bitches was laying out.
But and I told the Beehives, there's a big difference of someone who's popular and famous and someone who's a superstar. Stop. Everyone stop. Beyonce's not a superstar, but she's great. She's a fantastic talent. And the world is this big. She only got this part of the world. Michael Jackson conquered the entire kingdom.
Yes, he did.
I'm even talking about to the heavens.
Okay.
He conquered them. So until we never had a super. Everybody talking about Chris Brown is the next. Stop it. I love Chris Brown. I dig Chris Brown. I really do dig him. But he's not a superstar.
No.
He's famous. He's popular, and he's great. Mm-hmm. You have to tap into superstar status.
Yeah.
And he hasn't tapped that yet. and neither did
You
she.
don't even get that aura anymore, to be honest with you, from a lot of these music artists. You're not seeing anybody climbing on limos or fainting or climbing into people's venues and stuff together. We don't even get that hyped anymore.
You know why? You know why that's not happening no more? The reason why it's not happening no more because people feel they already know you through IG and social media. So when they get to meet you in person, they're not really fanning out. They're getting their fun out. Beyonce, B, just take this picture with me real quick. So the excitement of being there is more about getting the photo than when Michael Jackson did it. If Michael Jackson stepped out of the car, you was like, it's like, could you there was no other way to see him except for if you bought the magazines or if you saw the video on television. You know what I'm saying?
No.
We didn't have that closeness to Michael Jackson via social media. We didn't have that. We didn't have, if Michael Jackson was on social media, we'd probably be like, you know what, Michael, we burnt out by you now. You know what?
Right.
You're on social media.
You and Bubbles go have a seat for a day. Right. Thank you.
But we tried to do this to Michael and we couldn't get to him. You can get to Beyonce. It's easier. Jay-Z and Beyonce come to New York. You'd be like, there's B&J on the bus. They ride up. Let me get that.
They be on the subways. They be all types of stuff.
It's so I'm saying superstar status is when they shut the city down. Right. Michael Jackson came to New York, shut the city down.
He did.
That black people was mad. It was like, you know what, I love you, Michael, but I got to get to work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He shut the city down. There's a big difference of a superstar and someone who's just famous. Yeah. It's a big difference. Now, people could be famous on their own. Look at the Hot Tour girl. Hot Tour, she famous. She famous. She's famous now for nothing. You hear me, Knowledge? She's famous for nothing. It's easy to be famous for nothing. Michael Jackson worked on his craft since the time he was 6 years old and then reinvented his craft again.
Yep. And then again.
Exactly.
And then again.
So you could be that's what put him in superstardom's cactus. You know what I'm saying? Was the fact that he developed. Okay, I'm famous, but I don't want. I'm even talking about to the point that we saw the difference in the changes in his face and how he was looking. All of that played a part of him going into superstar extravaganza, along with the music. He had great songs that was produced well and written for him, you know, and songs that he written himself. So there's a big difference between a superstar and somebody who's famous. Hot Tour is famous.
And they said he was a guy, if y'all watch this, they said he was a guy that remembered every word of every song. Not only did he remember every word of every song, but every harmonic. Every harmonic of every song that he ever performed.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole nother level of thing. They like most of the singers we work with, they don't remember the songs. We got to help them out in the background and play over them and all of that. Every word of every song and every harmonic.
Beat the hell out nowadays. So
yeah, again, the development is no longer there. Somebody said, I remember Jermaine Dupri was online talking about, they talking about there was no developed artist, and he said he don't recall ever any artist being developed or having a developing company. And then a lot of us, we didn't check them, but we kind of remind them that Motown had a development company because everybody in Motown was developed to be who they are, you know, today. So he was like, okay, I get it now. But the reason why Jermaine Dupri didn't have to develop his act because he introduced them to the way they were. He used the corporation of hip hop and R&B like, y'all could just be yourselves. Wear your baggy pants like Jodeci and them did and your Timberland boots and sing. That was your R&B groups. New Edition was the only group that stayed to the tradition. They were the only group that stayed to the tradition. When New Edition performed, we put on the suits, the matching suits. We got the perfect dance steps. But when we Belle Biv DeVoe, we're a whole nother group.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
when you Ralph Tresvant or when you this person, everything was broken down like fractions with New Edition.
Exactly. But when you're New Edition, you're getting this. You're getting the suits.
Right.
And that's why they are the greatest R&B group of our generation. Big shout out to my man Ralph Tresvant because that's my boy. We really cool. I spoke to him like 3 weeks ago before he hit Vegas, and that's why I said they now could or should be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You're talking about over 40 years of a group, not only as New Edition but separately donated to Black music and entertainment. So When you don't have those kind of acts no more, man, this is what we're getting. You know, and don't get me wrong. There's a few groups that's kind of coming through the cracks that I like. I loved everything Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak did. That had to be the greatest Silk Sonic album. I was like,
they actually brought back that sound back for a little while. Like it put you back in that whole era, that whole vibe. Like
I'm even liking Marsha Ambrosius' new album. I'm liking that, the one that Dr. Dre did. I'm kind of liking that a little. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just go on record and say this.
Bruno did some things in this time from the time where he couldn't do it from his time. You see what I'm saying? So being able to bring things forward, he was able to reinvent himself.
Right. So
I mean, just say
this. Sonic Street, I want to ask real quick.
Thing. I love Marsha Ambrosius. I do. But this is my disclaimer, people. Don't come for me, wherever. I don't care. Please stop using my girl for BET tributes. Please. Let her do her own thing.
Right. Please. Yeah. I'm with you on that one though. Yeah. That's true though, because they could have found lots of other people to do, but it's BT. I don't even want to talk about that because I'm very, very disappointed in how they even producing their award shows now. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. I'm watching PBS. I'm done.
Not PBS. Damn.
Done. PBS do better award shows than them. I'm done with them. Shoot.
Honey, I didn't like how they handled none of the anniversary, none of it. It was just all disappointing to me.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, it was.
All of it.
I'm done with it. Now, I'm sorry, Knowledge. What you was gonna say? You said you wanted to ask something.
It was all good. We've been talking about legacy, quote unquote, for lack of a better word. Stetasonic's tree. How vast is the tree, and what are some things that people don't know that Stetasonic was involved in, inspired by, might have set some things into motion behind the scenes?
Well,
I know one in particular. So
I'm gonna break everybody down for you. Stetasonic legacy. People don't. I guess people have to learn about it. So I guess to your audience that's watching now, for those who don't know, I'm gonna tell y'all Stetasonic's individual members' legacy. And you can also Google it. You could do that. That's what I'm going to tell you so you can find it yourself. Let's start with number one. Let's start with Daddy-O. Daddy-O, who wound up becoming one of the greatest producers in hip hop. He's actually the producer. He produced the Milk Audio 2 Top Billin' song. That Go Brooklyn, that's us. You hear us in that. He also was responsible for Mary J. Blige's Real Love record. I always tell this story all the time. When Puff asked Daddy-O to work with Daddy-O, he said, "Yo, we got to do a remix to this because the album is going to drop and we need something that's going to be a banger. And since you're the original producer of Top Billin', can we come up with something?" So D came up with something in his house. I witnessed this in Daddy-O's house when he lived in Brooklyn on Putnam and Gates, and Biggie was in the house. That was the first time I met Biggie. So let me make this clear to everybody: I wasn't friends with Biggie. Daddy-O and Biggie were friends. I just met him on several occasions. But I sat in Daddy-O's house and I watched Biggie, and Daddy-O, yeah, he got this energy where he'd be like, "Yo, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you," he got that kind of energy. So Daddy-O was telling Puff, "Yo, you should let Biggie get on this joint." Puff didn't want Biggie on the Real Love remix because he didn't want Biggie to be heard yet on a record until he was going to drop his single. You know, or his album. The only thing that was out with Biggie at the time was Party and Bullshit. And so Daddy-O wound up convincing Biggie to go in and cut it. And what I witnessed was Biggie. I watched Biggie get up from the chair because Daddy-O had a desk that where he answers phone calls at, and Biggie got up and went in the booth. Daddy-O booth was real small. If you tall, you had to duck, because Daddy-O short. And Biggie went in the booth. And what you hear on that record is a one-take vocal performance. One take. You know how people do it? They go, "To bring that back, let me do it again." And look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nope, it's Mary J, ain't a damn thing. That's a one take. One. And then he was able to freestyle it at the end and said, "Peace to Daddy-O, we're big up to Brooklyn." One take. I witnessed that. So Daddy-O was responsible for that record. You know what I'm saying? Also, Let's go to my man Prince Paul, who's responsible for the greatest hip hop album of all time. And it got re-released and it sold another million again. De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me also mention Gravediggers. You know what I'm saying? Prince Paul, Gravediggers. You know, we also who else Paul produced? Third Base, The Gas Face. Paul produced that. Paul. So, you know, what came out of Stetasonic, we were able to create, again, different sounds and make records that fit like a glove for those artists. We, you know, when he did The Gas Face for MC Search for Third Base, he was like, I'm not trying to do a De La Soul record. Let me figure out how can I make a record for Search. And they took the time to figure that out. So that's another thing that came out of Stetasonic. Myself, me and Prince Paul together produced the rock band Living Color with Vernon Reed and them. We did the Living Color album. Me and Daddy O produced the Red Hot Chili Peppers. See, people didn't know that. So when you think of those rock bands, you think like, oh, that's either produced by white guys or no, those guys liked them. So we produced them. And then, you know, and also people now just finding out, wait a minute, you produce Shabba Ranks? Like, yeah, just look on the record. You know what I'm saying? Like, people didn't know that. Just like I mentioned Tony Terrier, people didn't know that I did the production on Tony Terrier. If you read the credits, you'd be like, oh shoot, Bobby Simmons. So we was able to expand our tree as Stetasonic and branch out, so that when you follow us, you'll go through a trail. You'll go through a trail. I mean, B-52s. Daddy-O did the B-52. Prince Paul did the Fine Young Cannibals. We got to work with so many great artists that people didn't know. People didn't even know I produced Smith & Wesson. Like, you know, that's why those are my boys. When I call them, I need them, they show up. So our tree is beautiful. We're happy with our legacy. We find out that a lot of people of our peers love it, support it, and we find out people who just learning about us. Like, wow, we didn't know you guys were doing that stuff. You guys were really great at what you've done. And that goes back to now, coinciding with the new album, Here We Go Again. We just do what we think feels good. We don't want to sound outdated. We're not trying to make records that go to the beat, but we ain't trying to make those kind of records. You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to find a way how to incorporate ourselves with this new technology of style, but keep the old style as well. And it's working for us. So we're happy with our tree and our legacy. And for those who didn't know the work, you can find the work. Also Daddy-O did commercials. Remember the commercial, Polly-O string cheese?
Yeah.
Remember the guy, that's Daddy-O, Polly-O string cheese. The best part of the pizza. That's Daddy-O. That's Daddy-O. Daddy-O's the bird. Polly-O string cheese. That's him. That's Daddy-O. And if you saw the movie CB4, remember the movie CB4 with Chris Rock?
Yes.
Sweat My Balls and all that. That's Daddy-O. I wrote that. That's Daddy-O.
I didn't find that out until recently. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah. That's Daddy-O. Yeah. Sweat My Balls and all that. And that's his vocals that Chris Rock mimicking to. So, you know, we played a part in a lot of people's work that people didn't know, because at the time people stopped reading. They just thought if they saw you in the video going, take that, you was the producer. So, you know, we kind of got lost in people knowing, did y'all produce the record? So you can now go back and research that was us.
So let me ask you this. Let's bring it. What do you think from the time where you guys all came onto the scene up until this point? Give me 3 good things that came to the culture from the point where you started up until now that actually impacted the entire culture.
Oh, 3 things? Okay. Well, for one, we still have rappers out there we still have some conscious rappers out there, just that they being pushed under. We need to continue to support them, especially if it's good. There's a lot of cats out there who's doing conscious rap, and we really need to show up for them. That's one thing that came out good out of it. I know it don't seem like it because of all the buffoonery going on, but they're there. So I encourage people to look for new music in different places that has different variety of perspective on hip hop. The other thing that came out of it that we see that was good, it became a great a business factor now because it's $1 billion business now. Again, we never thought of it that way when we was doing it, but luckily we were smart enough to stay active in it so that we can benefit at earning a salary at doing it. So it's a great business now. Hip hop knocked every music genre out of the ballpark. They beat rock and roll. They beat R&B. They beat R&B so bad that they had to merge R&B and hip hop together. So hip hop, the culture and the music dominated. It dominated white America. White people still freaking out. My kids, and they still freaking out over it. They freaking out so bad that they wondering, like honky tonk people is really wondering, should we say Eminem is number one? That's that nigger music. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the white kids who's just like, we love Eminem. He's the number one greatest. So Eminem is still in a messed up place. So we're still number one in hip hop. I don't care where you put it. You can say Eminem is the GOAT of all time. There's some honky tonk rednecks still talking about, oh, he's into that nigger music. Trust me, they're out there. We know they're out there. You know what I'm saying? You see them even when they speak on social media. They're out there. So Eminem, I love you because you're my dude. I respect you. You doing your thing. But your redneck honky tonk people, they don't want you influenced by this nigger music. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what they look at. But we're glad that it became global. It's a global thing in Africa, all other continents. We're happy about that. For us speaking, the third thing, just for us speaking, we are happy that we were the group that is in the Library of Congress, the song Africa, because we saw something, we spoke about it, and we did something. We even got the chance to go to Africa to perform. We went to Senegal to perform out there. It was us, Patti LaBelle, Spike Lee, Jermaine Jackson, Bobby McFerrin, Peter Gabriel. We did a concert out there. And we're proud of that moment that we actually got to meet Mandela. So we're happy that that's something in stone that we can talk about and be proud of, that hip hop was able to bring that to the forefront, because had we not did it, would have somebody else done it? So we're proud of that. We're very proud of that.
So I'm gonna ask you this, because this is a question that we ask everybody that comes on to the culture. Tomorrow's not promised. Anything can happen to us. When you leave this,
you trying to kill me tonight?
I ain't gonna kill you tonight. Not tonight. But what would you want your legacy to be when you leave this earth?
Well, I'm still on my journey. So if something was to happen to me, whether it was a heart attack or something, I would just hope that people will be happy that, wow, we watched this journey from Stetasonic to Flavor Videos to producing records to doing iHeartRadio and to being on something for the culture show, and be like, wow, he was able to tell us his journey straight out of his mouth. So I would hope that people would take from that and be like, wow, we got to learn a lot of things about him and his group that we didn't know about. So whenever my timely, passing come, people could be like, yo, well, we got it from him. We don't want to read social media talking about, yo, he was no, we got it from him. And I would rather people take from that and say, well, look, he was happy of his journey. And I'm still on my journey now, still on it. As I talk to you now, I'm still on the journey. This is a part of my journey, talking to y'all. Like, seriously, it is, because it's giving information to people that we want to have the information and that we want to share with people. Right. So I'm happy. I hope they will be happy with the fact that I was able to share my journey with them, and hope, and God forbid, just keep sharing it with everybody.
All right. Knowledge, you had something else?
Is there something you're going to write? Is there something that we can go see aside from? Is there something in the works for you to truly tell your story and it survive you, so we don't have to go to somebody's disgruntled feelings because they might have got mad because you had cheese on your sandwich and they didn't have it? You understand what I'm saying? So it don't take much. You see what I'm saying? It don't take much, and they harbor those feelings, and those are things that come out. So we have to depend on Showtime or whoever, one of these networks, to try to give some credence to the life that you lived and opportunities that you provided for so many people around the world.
Well, for those who have not seen the TV One Unsung, you can see it. The Stetasonic Unsung is on demand. So you just go to your demand, the TV One, and just all the episodes are there, and you can search for the TV One Stetasonic Unsung. They put that, at least as far as Stetasonic is concerned, they put that story together great because we called the people. We called the people to tell our story. We didn't depend on people who knew about us. We depended on people who was with us. Even our record label people, I called them, Tom Silverman, Monica Lynch. I was like, yo, they doing a documentary on us. We need y'all to tell the story, the good and the bad. So that's one that you can go check out and watch, and it tells our story. In the works, we are working on some things. As far as Stetasonic is concerned, another documentary, but it's more or less about the new album Resurging and the tours that we're doing mainly in Europe. So that we are definitely working on. That probably won't be done until 2025. Myself, for those, I just finished a movie recently, in a movie called Fist of Love, along with Frankie Gonzalez. Y'all know Frank, he's on that BT show, The Family Business. He was also on Power. It's a movie that him and his wife produce, Francis Lozada, and I'm in the movie. So when the movie first come on, I'm the DJ. So it's called Fits of Love. Yeah, if y'all didn't see it, check it out. I think it's on Prime, one of them companies. Y'all can check that out. But there's a couple of more things that we're doing, and we're also working on a new album now too. So even though the Here We Go Again album is out now, we already working on the second new album. So hopefully we'll have that album ready probably by April of 2025, because we want this album to go ahead and ride out.
And we need the exclusive.
Definitely.
All y'all together, we need the exclusive.
I could definitely make that happen. To interview the entire Stetasonic, tell me when, we'll make that happen.
Let's do it, because we need the exclusive.
Yes, definitely. I can definitely do that.
I was being nosy about you specifically, though, Bobby. Like, you see what I'm saying? That with folks is like here today, gone tomorrow. Those two. If you carve out the time and everything else that you're creating, I would ask, as a true fan, true supporter, to carve some time out to write your own legacy. I mean, you're there as a group development, a vital component in so many years of hip hop, but you have thoughts, ideas, dreams, aspirations. You lived a whole life to your fullest. You see what I'm saying? To be able to give back and impart some wisdom to this next generation, because folks need it.
Thank you.
Contrary to popular belief, folks are still reading. There are people who are still reading, and people are still writing, and they still want to be to learn authentically. Right. Like you said, if not, they have some little Asian dude say, "I'm Bobby Simmons."
Right, exactly.
You're like, who's the little Asian dude on this biopic right here? You see what I'm saying? Because they're taking and run with the story, and you witness the revisionism of hip hop on so many levels. Okay, folks is like, yeah, I was there. You like, who? What are you talking about? Like, you see what I'm saying? So if you don't tell it, if you don't share your story in a way that it needs to be shared, somebody's going to share it for you, and they're going to try to X you out of this.
But that's why I thank y'all for having me on. I'm sorry, real quick. I saw Angela ask Fist of Love. Yeah, that's the name of the movie, FISTS of Love, Fist of Love. So you can check that out. But yeah, thank you, man. I thank y'all for having me on. And again, since since Jazzy mentioned it, Stetasonic, we'll get them on there for sure. We have the guys on, because there's more to Stetasonic story that Delight and Daddy-O and Wise and Prince Paul can tell you.
It is.
There's information about them too as well. A lot of people is interested in Prince Paul's story as well. So
and not to cut you off, but this is the stuff that BET should. I'm gonna say it, because I don't care. Me now. This is the stuff that BET should have been digging in for the anniversary. Go down, talk to these people, tell their story, let them tell their journey. We ain't get none of that. Y'all drop the ball, BET. Right.
Thank you. But that's why we give TV One the credit, because TV One actually came to us and said, "Yo, we want to tell y'all story. No one told y'all story." And we was like, "Word?" So we was able to talk to them, the writers, and they said, "Well, who can y'all get to help tell the stories?" And that's where I came in at, because I'm in touch with everyone, all the rappers. And they was like, first they didn't believe that I can get Ice-T and all. I'm like, yo, those are our friends. And then when the girl who was producing the segment, when I got Ice-T to call her, she was like, yo, he called me. I was like, these are our friends. They're going to come through for us if they see me call. So you're right. BT dropped the ball. They didn't do it, but TV One did it. And we thank TV One for telling our story. We appreciate them.
I know that's right. And listen, we thank you for giving us amazing music and an amazing journey throughout the years and the culture and the vibes. We thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all, man. This was fun. I like this. Let me give y'all a round of applause. So I'm in my radio studio. Give a round of applause. We in the building with something for the culture, and y'all got something for the culture for your ass. Now let me stop.
But look, y'all, it was a pleasure having you on, and of course, we are welcoming you to come back.
Thank you,
because we need that exclusive with you and all the guys, because we want to hear y'all story. I'm gonna give you this time to give out any shout outs and any new upcoming things that we need to look out for.
Okay, real quick, I definitely want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to our manager, Courtney Benson. He also manages Morris Day and Nelly. So shout out to our manager, Courtney Benson. Big shout out to my guys at Stetasonic, Daddy-O, Prince Paul, Delight Wise. Also big shout out to Chuck D from Public Enemy. We actually did a business, we business partners in his company, Spit Slam Records. Shout out to Chuck D from Public Enemy. Chuck D is a big advocate for Stetasonic, so shout out to him. And shout out to our public relations lady, Darlene Free. She go hard for us to make sure that people get interviews and talk to us and tell our story as well. And just shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to everybody that's just been reaching back. Oh, big shout out to Smooth the Hustler and Marlo Reigns for dropping that cypher verses for us. Because part 2 is on his way, and y'all will not believe who's going to be on part 2. I got to come back for y'all for that. But part 2.
You know where to hit me at.
Yeah. So, but shout out to them, and just shout out to everybody, man. Please get the album. Here we go again. It is available now. If you have Apple, you can go to your Apple, or if you got Spotify, you can go to your Spotify. But I always recommend the people, just go to Stetasonic.com, get it from us. You know what I'm saying? We'll appreciate it if y'all, but if you have Apple, we don't mind you going to Apple, get it there neither, or Spotify.
And y'all go run them numbers up on that video. Go run it up.
Yeah. If you haven't saw the video Cypher, it's a good video. Big shout out to Ralph McDaniels too, because he gave us love on Video Music Box too. He always give us love. So appreciate everybody for showing up and showing out for us. So, and I thank y'all, man, very much.
Thank you. Knowledge, you want to take us out of here? You have the legendary outros and intros.
So we definitely had something for the culture today. Support the culture, support the movement. Hip hop is proof of movement, proof of life. Life and movement are one and the same. Honest to the living legend of the legendary group Stetasonic, Bobby Simmons. Harass him, okay? Harass his schedule, get him booked, busy, crazy, all over the universe. Right? I need to be hearing about him doing joints in Pluto. You understand? They were with Africa. They need to go to Pluto. I need Stetasonic on Pluto. You understand?
Okay.
So thank you for your time, for your attention. Honest to one of the legendary groups that's still with us and still standing strong and still saying something.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you.
Honest to I know you've been dealing with stuff down.
But thank you so much. I real quick, if I can, before we leave, if it's possible.
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot to totally just tell everybody, if you want to get in touch with Stetasonic, you can go to us on IG at The Real Stetasonic, at The Real Stetasonic. If you can't spell it, it's STETSASONIC, at The Real Stetasonic, or you can hit me up at BSBVBK, Bobby Simmons. You can hit me up there. So other than that, thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all.
All right, y'all. Like I said, culture, we back. We'll see y'all next Monday night. I'm Jazzy J. This is Knowledge Born Allah. We out. Y'all have a good night.